Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fridays with Sue and Steph. Fridays post Thanksgiving. Are you tired?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth it. Maybe.
That's not the
Okay.
topic.
Yeah, another topic. No, it's totally worth it. And we are going to talk today about the traditions that we love. And I would say some of them, like in my house, everything is a tradition on Thanksgiving. It's
Mhm.
crazy, not like any other holiday. Like if I change one thing,
Yeah,
it's
nobody
it's
likes that.
it's an uproar. It's so in my family, this is years and years of going to a movie. Well, we did change one tradition. We usually celebrate it with the same family, probably 20 years. And part of the pre-game was like trying to figure out a movie that we all wanted to see. And then at some point we would go to one of these multi-complex places because, you can't keep telling people they have to go to one movie.
Yeah.
But they're away, they're with their kids where they live. And so this year it was just us trying to come up with a movie. And there wasn't any movie anyone really wanted to see, but nobody would agree to not go to a movie.
Oh, that's funny. So what'd
So
you end up at?
so we saw the Steven Spielberg movie. I can't think of the name.
I don't know.
Um, yeah, if anyone knows the name, please help me and put it in the chat. But it
How was
is
it?
what?
How was it?
So it was an absolute divide. It
Mm,
was 2.5 hours. I don't have an attention span for anything for 2.5 hours.
right.
I just loved this movie. First of all, he's a pretty good storyteller, Steven Spielberg, and he's got a good
I'm
story to
looking up the
tell.
name while you're talking because I have no idea
Yeah.
what it is. Okay.
Anyway, I there were half that loved it and half that would have left at any point if someone would have said, "Let's leave." But they also knew before going to the movie they weren't going to like it, and yet no one would not do that. I mean, you got to do the movie on
The
Thanksgiving.
Fablemans?
Yeah, the Fablemans. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what's one of yours?
So same thing, like same foods, like yeah, that can't be changed. That's like totally off the table.
I
And
think I could add food. Could you add food if you didn't
we could
take off?
okay, so that yes, we could add food. Yes, that is that's permitted. And we've been doing movies at home, mainly because we're lazy and we want to be on the couch and we want to be able to stop it and we want to be with the dog. So there was a lot of discussion about what movie. It's more about what movie people won't object to than what they want to see.
Yeah. Where can you find something in the middle that's
Yeah.
like
Okay. And I highly recommend it. It was a 5 for 5 for the Silvermans. So
what?
the Elvis movie.
Really?
Really? So okay. Now, Todd and I are big Elvis fans. Todd and Zach went to Graceland during COVID when they were driving down to Texas. There was like no one at Graceland. It was like Todd and Zach, literally. So and they all love music. So there is, right, like, and it's not that they would all like sit here and listen to Elvis all day, but like intrigued and whatever. So, but I think they all said at the end, the story was okay, and there was nothing so surprising about that. But his performance, I forget the actor's name,
Yeah.
which the kids all knew, was outstanding. But talk about a long movie. I mean, that was like 2.5 hours. We ended up watching an hour and 45 before we went to Thanksgiving dinner, and then came home and watched the last 45.
So I watched some of it and just bagged it. I wasn't enjoying it.
The
Like,
Elvis movie?
yeah, I don't remember where. I think I was on an airplane and I was like,
Oh,
no.
yeah. No, we all really liked it.
That's great. The
Yeah.
other thing in my house is that when I first introduced, who knows how many years ago, what you're grateful for, my family was like, this is so stupid. And then I've come to learn later that other guests that we've had over Thanksgiving actually think about it well in advance. Like it's something they worry about, coming up with something to say when we go around the table. But now it's a given in my house. So everybody comes prepared, everybody has something. But I added an extra one this year because of our podcast with our friend Scott Simon, who wrote the book Scare Your Soul and has started a movement, Scare Your Soul. And because of that podcast, I thought, you know what, I'm going to ask everybody to say what they're going to do this year that scares them.
Mm.
And so it was hard for people because I didn't give them advance
Oh.
warning.
Yeah.
And but I mean, some people jumped on it right away and knew exactly what they were going to do. And it was very like the table helped them figure out how they were going to do whatever they were going to do. And then this morning, one of my kids said to me, "That was so stupid." And I thought, okay, we're back to
Yeah,
the gratitude.
the new integration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the new integration, like 5 years from now, they'll be like, "Oh my God, I totally have the best thing to say this
Yeah,
year."
we've been doing that for like 20 years. What do you mean? So it's so funny that you said that, Sue. Our cousins, where we have Thanksgiving, added the grateful thing this year, and I've tried to do it just with our kids, and they're always like, ugh. But when somebody else introduced it, they're not going to do that. So it was so nice, and it was so interesting to hear, like, I would say, like, thematically is really nice to hear, like, what's important to people, which I loved. And yeah, it was so lovely. It was just so lovely. Like,
I also did it. I kind of did what Scott said, and I said, let's just assume everyone loves their family and loves the people they're here with today and all that. So let's take that off the table,
yeah,
which meant that you had to not do the cheap. I mean, beautiful, beautiful, but like I'm so grateful for my family and having Thanksgiving together. Like we get everyone feels that way,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, and you know what mine was? I said, I hadn't thought about it till just then, I'm like, I'm so grateful I have a family that we enjoy each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of strife and a lot of, like, and I don't take that for granted.
My mother-in-law said one that was so touching. She said, "I'm so grateful I'm not alone." And everyone was kind of like,
Mm,
"What?" And she said, "Well, I'm here with all of you. I mean, that's a big
yeah,
deal at my age. Like there are people who are alone."
that's
But
so true.
yeah, yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah.
All right,
You know,
what's the most popular food that like never ever to not be done?
oh, in the Silverman family, potatoes. Like, there would be a riot.
Yeah.
Mashed potato. Yeah, they're all such.
Does it matter its format? Like does it have to be mashed?
Uh, oh yeah, and, like, there's like
Yeah.
a whole. Yeah, I mean, that's like a whole psychosis I can't even attempt to discuss.
So we also have potatoes. I forgot stuffing this year. That was a
Well,
thing.
that's
Dan goes,
funny.
yeah, I mean,
Not so funny. That's my favorite food item.
well, I do like it also, but the kids have never like that's not a big one
Hmm,
for them. So only Dan was kind of like, really?
yeah. Do
But
you
in
put
my
the?
house,
Oh, go ahead.
we do soup in bread bowls once a year. Like I order these bread, like I don't know how big they are. I said to the kids, they go, "What do you order?" I said, "I don't know." I tell the guy, "I want the same thing I got last year," and it shows up. So I actually have no idea. Like if that source dried up, what would I say? But they,
Okay, that's
we cut
really
off
funny.
the top and we dig out the bread in the middle. And I ordered the wrong number this year, and we were short. And so Dan and I were family holdbacks, and like it was like, whoa.
That stinks. What, do you put the same soup in it each year?
I didn't used to, but now pea soup is like the family favorite. So
Okay.
yes, now
Okay.
I'm not allowed to change that.
It's such a funny. It really is a funny
But
thing.
it is, I was trying to think where did I get the idea? And then and I thought it was from a person, but it was actually Panera who does that.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is, and we toast the bread beforehand, and it is a whole different experience. In fact, it should be the whole meal.
I know, right?
It's
Well, I'm
so
thinking that when you
filling.
said you do that before Thanksgiving, my sister used to make fun of us years ago. There used to be like there's some story. I have to ask her. Maybe we used to always make a big salad. She's like, who has a salad with Thanksgiving? She thought it was the most bizarre thing. And as I'm listening to you about the soup, I'm like, oh my God, I'd be so full. I couldn't even get to the meal
Yeah.
if I put them in the same bucket. But yeah, we don't do
Oh
the
no, they're
salad.
not the same bucket. Trust me. Like the salad one is like, who needs salad? The bread bowl with soup. I mean, it
Oh wait,
is
from a
seriously.
desire and what? Yes, but
Yeah.
I would not be
Yeah.
able to. That would be my meal.
Does anybody want to share like one of their traditions with us? Because we did determine we could add something. We couldn't remove something, but we could add something.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I
and
would say a close second is the green bean casserole.
never had it. Never. Yeah.
Really?
No, but I was talking to somebody who said this year they're foregoing the green bean casserole. And I was like, oh, that must be like a staple in houses.
Yes. Yeah. That would also be like a green bean rebellion if, yeah.
Wait, but you didn't have it this year or you
No,
did?
no, no. No, I'm saying that would be second if that went. People would not
Oh,
be very happy about that. Mashed
okay.
potatoes followed very closely by the green bean casserole.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what a second, I mean, a potato, but it doesn't like there were kids who were rooting for mashed potatoes, but I just didn't feel like making it.
Yeah. Well, here's
So,
thanks for sharing Thanksgiving.
Jerry, let's
Jerry.
give Jerry let's put him front and center. Jerry, thanks for sharing Thanksgiving. Yeah, tell us what's the thing you have to have, Jerry? Okay, so Steph, what were you going to say?
So one thing that has changed is how the turkey is prepared. So our cousins who host it now have this like I don't know, maybe it's a fryer, but all the fat drips off. They do it outside and it's like this self-contained thing. I don't know what it's called. I have no idea. Maybe somebody knows. And it gets like crispy on the outside. And
Yeah.
That was such a great change.
So the only question I have is like, how much oil goes? I mean, we've had that before with friends years and years ago. They had that. And it's like you fill a vat with oil. And then what do you do with that oil?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wait, here was something. Because the weather has been so great, we actually started our Thanksgiving outside around the fire.
Oh, lovely. That's
great. Like that was in Northeast Ohio. Are you kidding?
That's great.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I was like, I may not be going in for the festive meal.
That's funny. You know, for some reason this year, most of the movie theaters didn't have earlier movie times. So we went to one where The Fabelmans was playing at 2:15, which meant that the turkey either had to be cooked in the morning and sit or be cooked on a timer. And my son-in-law wasn't able to come with us. So I said, well, Michael will just switch the temperatures and stuff. And Jeremy said to me, my son said, that's not really fair to ask him. And I was like, really? It's the easiest recipe ever. Oh my God, it was so mean. It was so much pressure. It was like, because you have to, in the end, he only had one job.
Yeah, wasn't it just changing the time?
To put it in the oven an hour before. What?
Wasn't it just changing the temperature?
Hear me?
No, you went out for a second, but
well,
wasn't
it is, but it is, but so later when I said to Jeremy, why was that not nice to do to my son-in-law? And he said, well, the whole meal revolves around the turkey and you just put it on your son-in-law. And I was like, oh, I get that. Like if it comes out dry, or because there is some judgment, like sometimes I'll see it cooking a little, it seems like it's a little quicker and I'll make the judgment. I might even use the meat thermometer,
Yeah, so, I hear you. I hear you.
But he did great. Shout out to Michael.
Yeah.
He did great. Yeah. Yeah.
All
right. Awesome. Anything else?
No. It's just a lovely meal.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work for the people hosting.
Yes. Do you all bring stuff when you go?
Yeah. I mean, everyone brings stuff, and which is really lovely, and everyone helps clean up, and you know what I mean? It is.
That's why we didn't have cranberry sauce and stuffing, because Michal makes that every year, and they went to DC. It's never been on my plate.
Literally. Well, it has been on your plate,
no,
but
it's never been on my job, my list of my to-dos. That's so
interesting. See?
Yeah. Very funny. All right. Well, I guess it's time to detox from the day of food and celebration. So we wish everybody a great Thanksgiving weekend, a weekend of gratitude. What other ways are we calling this holiday now?
Yeah, it's a good question.
I can't remember, but I know what I know is that whatever basis this story, it should be reconsidered. The idea of a day of gratitude is a good one. I appreciate that.
Agreed.
All right, everybody, have a great weekend.